up, livestockers? Zach, the stock cropper, coming to you Sunday morning, September, I don't know, 19th now, I think. 18th, somewhere in there. Been a while since I made a video. I'm going to put a couple things up today, including our field day. So I'm not sure if that's going to go before this or after this gets posted, but be looking for that. It's about 2 hours of good content. We kept everything, I think, almost in complete entirety that we have included, including our walk throughout in the field. So be looking for that. And it's been a very busy couple weeks. We had the field day, last week or last Friday. And then since then, a lot of things going on just on the farm itself, trying to get ready for harvest. Harvest is just starting in our neck of the woods here. We're still about, I'm all corn this year, other than the beans at the stock cropper plot. So we're probably about 10 days away from getting going. Our corn was a little bit behind from the frost injury that we incurred in late May. Well, that's what's going on, and I wanted to make a new one today to get everybody up to speed on where the barn's at. A lot of stuff to talk about a little bit what we learned from the field day and thoughts moving ahead. That's what we're going to cover today. So first thing I want to say this morning is thank you. I said this on Twitter last week, but for those that are watching that made the effort to come to my field day, really appreciate folks coming out. We had a great day that day, and really good interaction. I felt like we had really good momentum coming off of it. I want to especially thank Art Cullen, who in the Storm Lake Times that was able to fill in for Ricardo Salvador, who wasn't able to make it. Jason Mock from driving out from Indiana, Joe Bassett, and his team members for showing up and bringing the Cluster Cluck Nano and demonstrating that thing successfully. It was just a really great day. So wanted to make sure I thanked folks before we got too far into things for coming, and make sure if you weren't able to attend that you click on the video for the field day here that we're going to have posted up on YouTube in the next day or so. What do you think, guys? So we've made a lot of progress here. So you can see the pigs, and my good God, do these things look fantastic. Holy Lord, as my old comic hero Norm Macdonald would say. These are some glorious pigs, and we have some of these available. So if you are interested, these are going to be going to the Conger meat market to get butchered here in a little over a month, I think, now. So, but these things, every one of these things just looks absolutely fantastic in this pen here in the 5,000. We've only got a couple moves left, and we're going to be all the way through the system. So we've gone 750 feet down and 750 feet back. It's taken us about a month to make the 750 feet on the way home. That's the way I designed the system for 30 days, for 3 days movement. Now, the thing I will say about 3 times a day sucks as far as having to be around and move this thing. And it's very much, especially here on a Sunday morning when I've got to be around all day, or somebody does 7 days a week to move this thing. It's a very good motivator for me to, if this is going to be a scalable solution, you have to have the ability for these things to operate on their own. And so that's one of the things that we met with Dawn with and their team. We had a great session talking about planning for the next iterations coming down the pipe. And I'm hoping to get, we had to make a few more tweaks to the Cluster Cluck Nano, but that's going to be coming back this next week. And hopefully I'll have some content of that with those improvements when it gets back here. But we have to have that ability for that thing to be solar powered and move in advance on its own, because being around here 3 times a day and dealing with hooking onto stuff like this is, although we've made it work for the purposes of demonstrating to figure out, can this concept work? It's worked. It's not something that's scalable. And so that is going to be a primary focus for figuring out, especially for these barns too. I'd like to have them get set up to be automated for next year as well, so that we're not out here pulling 3 times a day taking care of stuff. So I moved over here to the Max 9 into these this pen of Burke hogs, and these guys are coming along. They're gaining weight. They're definitely a different bodied style pig than our other pens, but they're coming along and they're going to make some nice porkers. These are probably going to be further into December. We're probably going to have to take these, finish these in our barn over at home in order to get them up to a size where we got plenty of bacon on that belly for folks. But yeah, no, we've got this is kind of a follow-up to the ringing. We've got these guys ringed, and you can see they're still doing some disturbance here, but it's pretty minor from the rings that they've got in their noses, and that's made a big difference as far as the roughness. You can see on the Max 90s, look back, we haven't caught a rain in a couple weeks again since that last big deluge, so the recovery hasn't been quite as fast, but you can still see further down, that stuff even after the cattle and the pigs here is recovered. We gave up on our laying hen idea. We tried doing that before the field day. We were going to demonstrate having the hens in here, and it ended up being kind of a debacle. One of the issues we ran into was on our design on our outdoor fence here, there's this gap underneath that we have to get fixed. It was a concern when we had the pigs early, but if you give chickens a spot to run out, and especially if they haven't been around pigs before, they get spooked and they try to get out. And so I think if we had our lower pen, or the ability to have that closer down to the ground, we could do this inclusion with hens in here to have an egg laying system. But that just didn't work, and we were short on time ahead of the field day, so we said, well, let's get this fixed, and then next year we can go for that inclusion. But so we're just filling some water here, trying to pump about 75 gallons or so in right now. You can see our water line moving up. Keep everybody going here on a beautiful Sunday morning. Still a little jumpy, but happy to have salad, the ability to lick its side. I'm not a cow man, but I sure like these things. They are incredible creatures. And I don't know how feasible it is to have one of these things in the system or not, but it's been really interesting watching how they've been incorporated and seeing how they interact with the pigs coming behind, and going through the cow pies and spreading that out and recycling what the cattle didn't use. And I don't know, grass-fed stock cropper cattle, I just like the idea of it here. So the soybeans are definitely turning here. The corn has black layered. You can see in the intercrop, this is the 6-row, or the 15-foot of corn, 15-foot of soybeans, so a 30-foot window of row crop here. So we'll pick the corn off first when we're picking the rest of the corn, and then we'll come back and do the beans here to finish up. These are a 2.3 maturity. They look pretty good. And then we've got the next mix, which we'll get to the end here with the Max 9, and we'll swing it around the horn and get back and start regrazing this stuff right here. So this is one of the reasons why we want to get to full autonomy on these things, is we've been yanking these around with tractors this summer, and relying on having these old guys out in the field, and it's worked some of the time, but when we've got really humid, dewy mornings, the points on this old M get wet, and then it doesn't want to start. We've had carburetor issues, and it's just an additional thing that you've got to worry about out here with yanking it around. And that's why if we can get it built in where we have a solar powered rechargeable battery powered system on here, yeah, there's going to be moving parts on it as well, but it's going to be all contained in one unit, and the barn will move itself, and we're not relying on another vehicle to do that. And I know that my dad would like to spend more quality family time on Sunday than out here bailing me out with working on this carburetor, wouldn't you?
I love working on these old amps, and it's been a nice challenge. This thing sat for quite a few years, didn't run, and last winter I brought it in with the idea that maybe that was going to be needed this summer. And I thought, if I can get that old M to start, it's something that can sit out, it's not going to weather anymore. And I thought I had it running pretty well, but there's some other issues that are going on that I'm slowly becoming a better old IHM mechanic and understand some stuff, and I'm continuing to learn. Do I have it mastered? Obviously not. I'm not going to be able to hang out my shingle.
Wouldn't it be nicer if we could just advance these things without having to come out and fight this, though?
That's what I was hoping all along, that the sun would move these things, and I think it can. There's plenty of power in the sun. I'm sitting out here probably going to get sunburned today. We have all kinds of power out here that can be tapped, and there's ways to do it. Technology is going to leave me in the dust, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't leave the next generation to take advantage of all the technology available to utilize.
Well, we can talk about technology, or we can finish fixing here.
I'll get busy and try to get this thing running.
Yeah, get to work. We got stuff to do. So I like giving him a hard time. If I'm being honest, though, we wouldn't have gotten through the summer without his help and his abilities to fix and engineer. And I wish I was half as good a mechanic as he was. But maybe someday when I grow up, I will be. But that last little bit there, really hits the nail on the head as far as the importance of the system being able to be automated. And I'm really excited. We had the Cluster Cluck Nano here for the field day, and we demonstrated it working. And if you want to see more video of that or commentary from Joe at Dawn, he had a lot of really good, interesting comments. Make sure you watch the field day video. At the very, very end is where we showed that off, if you want to just get to that part. But we demonstrated that. We took it back to Milwaukee this week. We're going to make a couple final tweaks, and then we're going to get it back hopefully this week and finish running it over the next month. And I'll have a lot more content and talk about the things that we really like and see how it works when we actually put it in between the strips of corn and make it go. But the thing is, this is not easy engineering that we're doing. We're working with the mechanical world, we're working with the biological world, and we're moving across the landscape. And there's lots of dynamics to that and things that you have to engineer around. And it was really valuable for, it's one thing to sit in Milwaukee or Sycamore in an office and design something. It's a whole other thing to come out and actually see, the nuances. And Joe got some good education, including chasing chickens, and he watched a goat jump out the window of the barn when him and Juice were trying to corral it, and I think the goat actually gored Juice's belly. And so Joe got a lot of good realities with the challenges we face out here on the farm to go back to the design room with. But like I said, we've got a lot of really cool iterations. We had an awesome meeting on Thursday talking about some of the design changes we're going to make on the next version that we're going to be producing. And a lot of people have asked, when are you going to have barns for sale? And the answer is we will have barns for sale when we are confident that we have a version that is ready for the public to use. Now, we've made progress on each one of these barns that we've had. There's design features in every one of them that I appreciate and want to make sure that we have in the first commercial version that we have, but we're not quite there yet. And so our hope, though, is that after this next set of changes, that we're going to be very much closer, and we will be producing barns for next spring over the course of the winter. But with all the supply chain issues, that's going to be a difficult task. It's honestly why it took so long for us to get the barn here, to our place this year. It's because we were waiting on components to show up so that we could stick them in the barn and make the thing work. So it's a crazy world we're living in right now, but I want folks to know we are going as absolutely fast as we can, and I'm very excited and proud about the team that we have behind this thing for being, essentially a startup that we've pulled together in the last 18 months. There's a lot of excitement around what we're doing. I really appreciate the support that each and every one of you that watches these videos or sends messages or shows up to our field day. That's power to us. And so, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that continued support. We're going to continue to keep charging. I'm going to continue to make content and continue to be transparent and honest about what's working and what's not working. There isn't any point in sugarcoating anything if we really want to have something in the end. So that is enough for this week. We've got a big week ahead getting ready for harvest prep. I'm going to maybe make some content about some of that here too as we wind down the season. But hopefully next week we'll have the Cluster Cluck Nano back out and I'll have some content around that. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, and we will see you next time.